would be a challenge, one carefully plotted step at a time. A total mental and body commitment at 100 miles an hour. This is the 38th time they have come here to this place to bounce and rumble across this barren part of Mexico. Today, we'll try and keep up with their pace, knowing that maybe half of the largest field ever assembled will not finish. This is Mexico's big off-road race as NBC Sports presents the SCORE Baja 500. At 6 a.m., the highly anticipated Class 22 motorcycle battle is about to begin. The defending champion is Mike Childress, 1X of Team Honda. His teammate is number 6X, Robbie Bell. It's the team to beat, and everybody knows it. Sal Fish is the boss around here, and his presence is everywhere. 48X's Cameron Steele will ride the first 13 miles, then hand the bars over to a teammate, and then return to the start to drive his trophy truck. It's in his blood. The race includes 438 vehicles of different classes that will go counterclockwise for 425 miles, beginning at the Convention Center of Ensenada. Almost immediately, things get chokingly dusty and ever-changing. Along the course, there are 5 must-visit checkpoints. There's a stretch along the coast on the return to Ensenada, and the finish at a softball field. Estimates say there are 150,000 people scattered out there to watch the race. The time is now for Childress. The defending champion has done his homework again, knowing that parts of the course have been newly carved out of the desert.
We start right out here, right off on the pavement, right in front of the hotel. Immediately start heading into the mountains, up into the pine forest, down through the valleys, back up into the mountains, and then over to the ocean. Where else in the world can you race from the mountains back to the ocean? And it's awesome.
It is no surprise the Honda rider is riding aggressively, right to the edge, right to the limit of what the terrain will allow. Childress' new co-rider is Steve Hengebel. All he's done is win 5 of the last 6 years with different co-riders. Their competition might be themselves.
You know, everybody's the competition. The elements are our competition. But if we had to choose one team, our B team with Honda is probably our competition.
Any one of a million bumps can end your day. And there is a constant alertness as to who is out there, keeping up with you, or maybe even going faster. In a staggered start, it's hard to know where you stand. So any clue is a good one. For Cameron Steele, the frantic pace leads to a moment of indecision, a loss of seconds that could lead to something worse. In the Honda pit, they show what a complete, efficient team they are. Motorcycles have been at it for 3 hours. Back in Ensenada, that means showtime for the trophy trucks. NASCAR's Robbie Gordon moves into position. This time, he'll leave early to fly a nighttime NASCAR date, while Andy McMillan will finish. It aligns Gordon with the first family of the sport.
My dad called him about getting a trophy truck because Robbie has had a lot of experience from 1992 up till now, so 15 years of experience of, you know, our trucks being a mid-engine compared to a front-engine setup, and what he thought was better in that situation. And then he said, you know, how come? How come you're asking me this? And he said, my dad said, well, you know, I'm kind of looking for a ride for Andy in a trophy truck for next year. How about if Andy drives my race truck and McMillan Homes comes on as a sponsor and campaigns for a 2006 trophy truck season in Robbie Gordon's trophy truck? And my dad came to me with that news, and he said, well, do you want to do it? And I said, are you kidding me? You know, it's a no-brainer.
I was always planning on sharing the race with Andy McMillan anyways. So I'm going to run the first half of the race, and then Andy's going to run the second half. He's piloted the truck the first 2 races of the season. I got a lot of confidence in his driving ability, and I'm confident. You know, he won the race last year in Class 1. I won the race last year in Trophy Truck, so us teaming up is a good partnership.
Cameron Steele is off the bike and back for his trophy truck start, thinking he has a strategic advantage.
like I already rode the whole Baja 500. I rode the 48X machine to mile marker 15, but in that amount of time, I got smoked by Mikey Childress. I was doing about 80, and he was doing about 120 on a gravel road. Then the fog was down to the ground, the silt was up in the air, so I was moist, and I was just covered with dew, and I ended up planting my face in the silt one time, and I got a little frustrated and started going. I passed 5 guys, fell again. One got back by me. I watched a guy get lost, and all that 14.5 miles. It's like I conquered the Baja all by myself.
Robbie Gordon is ready to go and seems impatient to lose the asphalt and get the rough stuff under his tires. Trophy number 2, Pistol Pete Soren. This is what the race looks like from the driver's seat of the 96 truck driven by Bobby Baldwin. Truck 17, piloted by Carl Renazetter.
Race 96 off the line. Race 96 off the line.
Sometimes things go wrong late, and sometimes things go wrong early. The fans were lucky, as danger becomes a souvenir. There are 37 trophy trucks entered in the SCORE Baja 500. The race is now where it belongs, and off-road. Every team knows that every weld, screw, and spring will be tested today. But that's the stuff that is out of their control. Robbie Gordon will control what he can. That's racing, and he loves it. The morning sun of Ensenada continues to burn off the Pacific mist as the SCORE Baja 500 begins to take shape. The trophy trucks have left the city to Ojos Negros and the pine forest that will present a challenge for some of the most precise driving the race has ever seen. The 38 truck is being driven well by Garant Caliente, but we are still in the first 100 miles, and Murphy's Law is a big part of this. You can already barely make out the numbers. Back on board with Bobby Baldwin, you get a sense of the steep ups and downs. Ron Whitten, Caliente's teammate, has lost a huge chunk off his body, but it's not slowing him down. Robbie Gordon comes out of one cloud and goes into another. For everyone, including Carl Renazetter, just seeing where the next turn goes is a major challenge. The clockwise 425-mile loop on the Baja Peninsula south of California continues, with the trophy trucks heading toward a pine forest that should play a large role in who wins the race. The motorcycles are already through there, having started 3 hours before. Word is starting to spread that some of the major players are being given 10 or maybe 20-minute penalties for speed zone violations. That may or may not be a factor. The trophy trucks continue the dusty charge. Number 80 is Chad Ragland. That's number 12, Brian Collins, but anyone can see that. This Baja 500 is now strung out as far as the eye can see. One thing from the sky is easy to spot, and that is where the action is. Just follow the dusty wakes. For the trophy trucks, the race is about 40 miles old, and 4 trucks have already surrendered and withdrawn. Chad Ragland is not one of them, but further down the road, Carl Renazetter's status is in question.
Coming around the corner over there, the motor just stopped. We weren't going through the water at that time, and I lost steering and went through a bunch of water after that, but we're not sure. We're trying to figure out what happened.
Not good. It's not a way you want to start the day off.
The truck went through water. It sounds like the second deck maybe is stalled there.
This could be it. We'll see.
Robbie Gordon's dad approaches in his number 89 Hummer. You can almost hear him say, "I'm glad that's not me." And Renazetter say, "I wish that was us." The younger Gordon bounces along up ahead. Look at the stress the suspension must absorb. Soon, this race won't be about the bumps. It will be about the pine forest, a twisting concoction that will leave little room for error.
The toughest part about the 500 course in the Pine Forest this year is where they mark the course with a machete and a horse. And we have these giant trophy trucks going through this thing, and it's just not made for that. So, it's difficult.
You have basically giant pine trees and giant boulders the width of the race truck away. I mean, the roads were cut for regular streetcars, not trophy trucks. I would say that 20% of the trophy trucks aren't coming out of the Pine Forest. 35 trucks will enter and 15 will leave, so it's going to be pretty gnarly.
Width is not the problem for the ATV class, but they still have their own issues of survival. It's not uncommon for half of their field to be DNF. This is our first look at Bob Shepard, a 48-year-old from Phoenix. If we're going to lose half the field in the forest, you have to grab your looks when you can. Carl Renezetter's truck will be reaching the finish line in the most inglorious way. But the action for the crew is far from over. It's amazing how one quick radio call can change things.
That rollover is with regards to a Bonneville. 2 ambulances left Ojos Negras about 20 minutes ago, heading that direction.
So luckily, there are some race teams with medics, because otherwise this guy would still be passed out underneath his car. That's horrifying. I'm glad that we were here and there's another chase team that's here helping.
His pelvis may be fractured. When he moves his leg, it hurts.
We're going to leave him sitting there right now, and they're going to head back to town and get the trailer.
From what we understand, the ambulance that's on its way broke down about a mile north of here. And the police, their car overheated when they got here.
Save a truck, save a man.
Yeah, that's right.
Baja. Ahead, the motorcycles are not having a problem with attrition. Everyone's still alive, out of the forest, retesting their limits. Their own way to watch a race like the SCORE Baja 500. Then there are places where only the riders care to go. The motorcycles are still heading south to a place called Mike Sky Ranch. It's a very technical part of the course, and it's getting very difficult to see who's who without getting very close. Here it goes from hard and windy to rutted to thick, deep sand. In the end, it could come down to whether you just pick the wrong line of approach, the difference to whether you get in and get out. A volunteer tries to warn about a ditch, and that leads to a stall. A rider gets plenty of local help to fix a tire. And this time, the same warning leads to a safer approach. And, thanks, man. Back in the tight pine forest, the trophy trucks bob and weave through the timber. Brian Collins is looking smooth. In a slightly more open area, Robbie Gordon takes full advantage. The Class 1 truck started after the trophies, and here representing the legendary Herbst family is Troy. The family's been part of this since 1970. And this is Mark McMillan, Andy's dad. Corky, who started McMillan Racing, passed away in '05, but somewhere he's smiling. Back in the trophy race, 26-year-old B.J. Baldwin from Las Vegas is looking very together. while 29-year-old Josh Baldwin of Newport Beach, California, is nothing but a blur. Ahead in the motorcycle race, the terrain and the direction is turning from south to north, heading toward the Pacific coast, where you might be able to burn off some fast miles. But between here and there, care is the operative word. But then, after this wet experience, the 425-mile course turns for about 4 miles onto Highway 1 before heading towards the Pacific again. These are happy miles. In a long, tiring day, it can keep you energized to know that you're riding with a team, and that when you get to the pit stop, they'll do everything to get you through. For the Honda team, that's exactly the feeling they get.
Honda comes down here, and we all do our homework. We have the best people working with us. I think we have like 12 pits down here.
They're running first, second, third, fourth, everything.
Everything.
We had 52 bikes today.
Getting all those people to the right sections and having your parts there and your fuel and everything goes flawlessly. I mean, you have one person in the wrong spot and there's your race. It's gone, it's over.
Every time they don't give me gas, they don't have it.
They don't have gas?
They don't have it in the tank. It's empty.
It's not smooth and organized for everybody. The leaders of this motorcycle race are no surprise. The Honda 6X bike, ridden by Robbie Bell, which has hit the coast. And right there with him is teammate 1X Steve Hengeveld. If they both hold together, this will be very close. 115 miles to go. Then you see something and you're not sure what to make of it. Is that a... It is.
How's it going?
We're doing good, we're doing good.
What's your dog's name?
Opie. Opie the Moto Dog.
Opie the Moto Dog. Okay.
Started way back in the late 70s, providing pit support. We bring down a semi and help any racer. This particular race, we're doing 3 pits, about 140 miles apart. For the long peninsula runs, we'll have a crew of over 600.
We'll fill you with fuel, we'll give you water, we'll give you a sandwich, whatever it takes to get you to the finish line.
Very expensive for racers to try and pit themselves all the way down, especially on a long race.
Outside and inside.
As far as BS Goodrich is concerned, there's marketing involved. We do have a very good tire, and I believe it is the #1 off-road tire in America. And it proves it time and time again out here on the race course.
For the trophy trucks in the SCORE Baja 500, the pine forests have been replaced by a rolling, relatively sandy valley. 8 of the 37 starters have stopped racing. Their vehicles just gave in. On the map, they are near checkpoint 3 and headed through the Val de Trinidad, north into the second half of the race. Josh Baldwin in truck 86 is a survivor of the forest and running one of the fastest times. Some rugged fans are out there with him. Truck 39 of Ron Whitten is also still alive, but missing pieces. And every one of those boulders at the side of the road is a potential race killer. And there are even other potential roadblocks. This one with the good sense of a race veteran. B.J. Baldwin negotiates a tricky sideways downhill and handles it well. That dust cloud up ahead means someone else is close, and that is something for him to deal with. The unique look of the Class 1s are behind, still heading south. For the fans, this race goes on for hours. 6 of the 17 starters in the ATV class are out as Baja takes its usual toll. For some, it's still smooth going, but there are times when someone else's problem becomes yours. These are moments of understanding, yet total impatience. Once again, the fans turn into volunteers, all in the name and game of the race. It's very hard to tell if you're winning or losing a race like this when it's in progress. But when you see a competitor at the side of the road, it reminds you that something like that could happen to whoever is leading. So you speed on. And when you start passing vehicles from another class, that's also usually a good sign. In the Robbie Gordon truck, it's time to start thinking about handing over to Andy McMillan.
Me and Robbie went down testing. He goes, okay, I'm going to let you drive with me. I'm going to take you first and show you what to do. And then you can hop in and you can show me what you can do. And I was just, you know, butterflies and my stomach's going all over the place and nerves and everything. And Greg's our rider and he'll be riding with Robbie the first half and then he'll stay in the truck and coach me through the second half of the race. And he's been riding with Robbie since 1992, I think, and he's raced every single year with Robbie since then, and he has never crashed. And that's a pretty good record when he's raced for 16 years in the trophy truck and hasn't crashed yet.
So one Gordon truck is in good shape, but the same can't be said of his father's Hummer, which isn't humming. And for an odd moment, the truck just sits there.
How you guys doing?
Cameron Steele needs a new tire. And when that happens, it's like someone turned up the volume on the ticking clock. It's rare that something does not go wrong in the 425 miles of Baja. It's part of the lure that brings them to the race, hoping that they're not next. For Baja 500, the pace feels more urgent, like a game that's gone into the second half. And David Scaroni is happy to still be in the game. Fans have gathered at a part of the course that should provide some high-speed thrills. There's a giddiness when the ground rumbles as a trophy approaches. They get what they want. Robbie Gordon still looking strong. There are those who treat this like some running of the bulls event. Not smart. The Class 1s come flying in as Mark Post and Riviera Racing get a little help to tape down some loose body parts. Five-time Baja 500 winner Larry Ragland has taken over from Brian Collins, a good truck and a proven driver, in with the fastest time. Scott McMillan is in to gas up and rinse the air intake of dust. Soon his brother will take over for Robbie Gordon, making this third generation of McMillans a force. Red Bull Trophy moves in for the switch. Robbie has a NASCAR race to get to.
Here we are, race mile 250, getting ready to get in Robbie's truck. We're first on the road. He's about 4 minutes out, taking it to the finish. Hopefully we'll have no flats and no problems, and see you guys at the finish.
He said he can't hear you on the radio.
The McMillan brothers are both in the race. It's a family thing. The main pack of motorcycles and ATVs are still heading toward the Pacific Ocean. The pace is fast, and there are some traffic issues. The race is a major event that temporarily creates a population boom in Rancho Tampico. And race fans here see more evidence of Honda strength. X is John Ortner, Honda. And 3X is Chris Gunnan, Honda. And how's that for a name for a motorcycle rider? Trigger Gum took over for Cameron Steele after 13 miles on 48X. He's definitely in the mix. And at Santo Tomas, it's time to hit the highway once again for 6 miles. It's a mental relief and time to throttle up. After the highway experience, the race goes back into some rough terrain. It's 75 miles from the finish, and that terrain has drawn a crowd. They want to see Baja in a dramatic spot where riders who've done their homework can take advantage with risk. We mentioned the risk of a potential gain actually becoming a major loss. Robbie Bell on the 6X Honda is headed to Ensenada. The lead is his. About 7 minutes later, teammate Steve Hengeveld is there on the 1X. Baja, where even the ice cream truck has to be a 4x4 if it wants to get to the customers.
Continuing, 555, 705, 743. Stand by 1.
In a long race like the Baja, it's a huge job and very important to keep track of where the drivers are. This is the vital role B.F. Goodrich plays.
BFG Central, this is Hamoon. I've got some passing times when you're ready. If the vehicle comes by us and doesn't stop, or if it comes into the pits and stops, we collect the into the pit and out of the pit time and what we did to the vehicle.
11:19. 76. That is affirmative. That is affirmative.
With about 115 miles to go in the SCORE Baja 500, the leaders in the trophy class prepare to hit the beach, a challenging stretch where they must continue to push, yet be smart. The next critical tell is the fourth of 5 checkpoints. It will tell who is where. What we know is that newcomer Garen Caliente has the lead, but right behind is the Brian Collins truck being driven by a former Baja champion, Larry Ragland. Caliente is at the peak to reach checkpoint 4. An off-road win earlier this year means he's for real. The Class 1 race has a familiar ring to it, as Terrible Herbst is leading. Then there is a very tight battle for second place. And in that mix is Mark McMillan. Herbst versus McMillan. It's like an old-time off-road all-star game. Alan Pfluger looks like he's preparing for takeoff as he roars to checkpoint 4 in third. He's a Hawaiian, definitely not out of his element. Ragland uses everything he knows about the race and his truck as he pushes hard to catch Caliente. Through the mist, one thing is clear. Moves made and missed here could decide the race. The ground is soft and unstable. On Caliente's truck, the undercarriage continues to get a major workout. Within minutes, Josh Baldwin reaches checkpoint 4, and in so doing, announces his contention. Pfluger, the Hawaiian, is keeping up with the chase of Ragland and Caliente. In the Class 1 battle, it's still McMillan, riding to the edge to try and catch Team Herbst. But Herbst still has the advantage. The Collins truck, driven by Larry Ragland, is gaining as he apexes the turn with acceleration. Caliente, in a bid for the biggest win of his racing life, speeds across a cliff of clay. The pressure to hold the lead is obvious. But Josh Baldwin is also gaining, going faster than Caliente. It's off-road racing with a coastal flair, with a prestigious SCORE Baja title on the line. There are so many possibilities in this battle of Ragland's experience versus new desire. But it's not like Ensenada is right around the corner. 80 miles to go as this Baja race heats up. Finish for Team Honda's Robbie Bell. As he approaches the finish line in Ensenada, there is no one else in sight. Arriving at the softball field, he covers 425 miles in 8 hours, 59 minutes, and 4 seconds. That's an average of 47 miles per hour. Robbie Bell takes the Class 22 Motorcycle Championship of the 2006 SCORE Baja 500. Race CEO Sal Fish is the first to welcome him. It's a team win.
Yeah, there's always a rivalry between the team, and I mean, getting 1X would just be awesome. It's been Johnny's number for so long, and then he just retired and stepped into the team manager role. So to be able to kind of wear his number it'd just be awesome, since he's, you know, over the last few years kind of taken me under his wing and taught me everything he knows.
The 1X of Steve Hengeveld is next. He's been penalized 10 minutes for a speed zone violation, but he finishes 20 minutes behind. Second place is his, and it's more success for Team Honda.
Struggling all day long, and got mile 150, and we brought it back in, and things were looking really good. And Mike Childress got back on the bike, and I guess about 5 miles after he got back on the bike, he ended up breaking his collarbone. You know, there's nothing we could do, and we just lost too much time. The deficit was too big.
The riverboat gambler side of the trophy trucks kicks in as many of the drivers go for the shortcut that can save 15 seconds, and the fans love it. The trophies are in San Tomas with 75 miles to go in the SCORE Baja 500, with the finish coming in the northwest corner of the Baja Peninsula in Ensenada, Mexico. The hilltop climb to save time continues to be a big lure for all involved. If this transmission could talk, it would be screaming. On flatter terrain, the Collins-Ragland truck has been strong all day. Andy McMillan, driving Robbie Gordon's Red Bull Trophy truck, tries to catch the front of the race, and there's a lot of that going on. Cameron Steele is in the same situation, and he's driving a little crazy. But then again, everywhere you look, you see signs of desperation. Classes clashing. Front ends left behind, back in the desert somewhere. Or maybe a late flat tire. Some of the crew you know, some are total strangers from the side of the road. Still, everything stays urgent. In Ojos Negros, BJ Baldwin is literally flying. His time is fast. Top 3 is possible, and for a 26-year-old, that would be a major deal. Cameron Steele needs to pull over under a setting sun. When you need fuel, you need fuel. They've done the math, and they know they can't win, but it's a race, and they're going to stay in it. The Red Bull machine of Andy McMillan and Robbie Gordon is still alive as well, but the ripped body tells you they have some good stories to tell. Next stop in Baja, Ensenada.
It's so hard to ride 230 miles and just boulders, just every kind of terrain you can think of. I think the Baja riders are definitely, they're real athletes.
Waiting to see someone finish what you started. It's a hard thing to do.
Well, we're sitting here at the finish line waiting for Larry to come in.
We just found out he went through Ojos Negros, and now we're just keeping our fingers crossed, and the truck's been running awesome, and no flat tires all day with the BFGs. It's just been a wonderful day. The truck's doing fabulous.
That's Brian Collins at the finish of the SCORE Baja 500. The Hawaiian Alan Pfluger is only about 5 minutes behind in second, and he also has about a 20-minute cushion on Josh Baldwin in third. Brian Collins finally sees what he wants to see. The race and truck he handed to Larry Ragland, who seals the deal. 9 hours, 36 minutes, 49 seconds. Average speed, 44 miles per hour.
Congratulations, Larry. You okay? Great job. Great job. Congratulations, guys. Okay, he's pretty close behind him. We got to pull you up a little. Keep going. Get out of the way.
Pfluger brings his battered truck into the vacated space a little over 4 minutes behind.
Congratulations. Great job.
I need some food. I didn't eat all day.
Great job.
Then it was Josh Baldwin's turn to take an impressive top 3.
We had a stellar day. Couldn't ask for better.
So the headline winners in the 2006 SCORE Baja 500 include Robbie Bell on his Honda motorcycle and Brian Collins with Larry Ragland winning the trophy trucks. Team Herbst had a say over the McMillan clan this time. The sportsmanship that is off-road racing knows that in this sport, Baja is king.
Son, you must go back to the light. Go pack your bags. Take up the sight, 'cause this world wasn't meant for us both. Who made the night? Who made the day? Who gave you life? Who gave you say? I said this world wasn't meant for us both.
This is Al Trowick. Thanks for joining us on NBC Sports. Join us again next weekend for the SCORE Baja 1000.